everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Melanated Margins. And if you cannot tell, I am in a closet because I just recently moved to a new state and I'm still unpacking and everything is chaos. But in this episode, we are going to be discussing Rhythms Blues by Kimberly Brown. This book centers Rhythm, who is kind of coming out of a relationship with a rapper she moved to California to be with and has been acting shady lately. But then she meets this music producer, and what she doesn't know at the time is that he also has been working with her soon to be ex-boyfriend. And so that's where the mess comes in, but they both don't know at the time that they have that connection. But that's just like the synopsis of the story, and it gets so juicy when you get right into it. But that's a little bit about the book. So, Damaris, where are we going to start this discussion? It was such a fun read.
I really enjoyed this book. So fun, super spicy. But also like I feel like this book was really true to like Black culture. Like we got like a lot of like music. Of course, like it's based around the music industry, so there was reference to like different songs, like a Jodeci song, and like music videos. So we get like these cute little winks to the Black culture, which I thought was super cool. But let's start with Rhythm staying like still being in this relationship, even though she's having like some apprehension. She is like, he's moving weird, he's moving different, I don't like it. Like you have like that female intuition and like things just like aren't right, and like you think something is off. So Rhythm picked up on Raheem, which I'm going to refer to him as Homeboy throughout this because
Prince Cole. That's right.
Prince Cole. I was like, I couldn't remember his stage name, but she's with Raheem or Prince Cole, and he has this girl who's also signed on the same label. They've been singing out together, and he has not like publicly acknowledged Rhythm, which I find incredibly problematic. Go ahead.
So I understand, like, I know people will be like, she didn't want to be public, like, but one thing in the book which I like the line, she's like, she did not want to be public with their relationship, but she didn't want to be a secret either. And that's what he was doing, because he was moving mad. Just like, I don't know, he wanted his cake and he wanted to like eat it too, because Imani, I can't remember her stage name, but Imani, the rapper girl, like, even if, first of all, if your record company came to you and say, pretend to be in a relationship with someone, first of all, it would be disrespectful to the person that you're dating to even say yes to this, because the instances that were photographed is like her all over him on his lap, like the disrespect, like, this is not like two actors in a movie. This is what you're presenting to the rest of the world. But also her being emboldened to disrespect Rhythm is another thing that tells you, like, this relationship, there's more there, because there's no way she should be disrespecting Rhythm. And Rhythm, I remember her saying, like, I have fed this girl at my table and she wants to come and act crazy. But from the jump, I feel like Rhythm stayed as long as she stayed because she was all alone in this new city. She moved for him. And I think maybe even that, and she talked about it, like, it's embarrassing. Like, I moved over here with him and it not working out. She didn't want it to not work out. And they had been together for so long. And even though she did have like a cousin in California, and it seemed like they had been close growing up, and I think it maybe comes back to being embarrassed about, I came all out here, uprooted my life, started a whole business, and now it's not working out.
And then also it's just like, one, it's embarrassing. It's just like he presents to the world as if he is like this single dude. And like also like it is okay, like if she did not want to be public or like be really public with their relationship, that is totally fine. But he could still acknowledge, oh no, I got a girl, or like there's this girl from back home I've been dating, and like kept it really like I keep my private life private.
Because but even, no, sorry, that radio interview, which starts off the book,
That was
Like
his.
that's where she was like waiting for him to be like, because he denied being in a relationship with Imani.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, "Is there someone?" He was like, "Nah." And
The
I'm like,
perfect
this
opportunity
was
to
a
just be
perfect
honest.
opportunity to be like, "There's someone. There's a special lady at home. She
Mm-hmm.
likes her privacy. I'm not gonna speak on it anymore." I don't know.
Yeah, he could have like stopped it there and been like, look, this is my girl. She wants to keep it private, so I'm respecting her wishes. She didn't sign up for this industry. She's not in the industry. Like, whatever. And it just left it at that. But no, he wanted to dibble and dabble. And then I think he really thought that because he, like had money, had like been in the industry for like almost, what was it, 10 years at this point, that she was just gonna stay around and just kind of like deal with it. Like,
But
and Rhythm clearly showed us she was not that girl, like
he was
not the one to
like
be played
on
with.
the come up, I guess, for a while. But then
Mm-hmm.
after that, like this is the time I think he started to really blow up, but he'd had some albums under his belt at this time.
Yeah.
But you want like I and he mentioned something like, obviously when things pop up, like I thought we would be this couple that just like went jet setting, you loving the life and all this other stuff. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, she's down to earth. She, clearly she's not with you for the money.
Yeah.
And you think he would be okay with that, but and also the way he pursued her, and also the fact that you've known each other since you were kids because you went to high school together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And him was just like, well, you changed when you moved out here. You didn't want to do anything. She's a grown up. She has a
Right.
whole
A
job,
whole career.
a
Which I
whole
love the
like
fact
business.
that Kimberly Brown that Kimberly Brown made her an occupational therapist. I was like, come on. With her own practice. I was like, this is legit. Um I was about to say something else. I can't remember. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, she had a whole career, right? Doing
Mm-hmm.
that thing, getting her own money, and also the fact, like, yes, you helped her set it up, but the success has been because of her credentials, and she's good at what she does. And maybe I think his problem was like everything going to his head, that this relationship, like, she wasn't all about him. It wasn't all about maybe like following him around to everything he had to go to. Wasn't just like waiting on him or being in the studio with him or whatever he was expecting. Like, he's this superstar. She also has her own life. Like,
Yeah.
she
I
goes to
think
work,
he
comes back. Like,
I think he wanted like a little trophy show off piece. And granted, like it is clear that Rhythm is that girl. Like she's got this
mhm,
like bad shape. She is like super pretty.
she is that
Um
girl.
she's intelligent. You know, like she's like the total package. And he wanted her to be like out and super flashy. That's just not who she is. But like instead of accepting who she was, he chooses to like be shady and be like off. But then also like when she approaches him about Imani and was just like, hey, like what's going on with, he just like denies.
He
And so
also
I was so,
gaslights her.
yeah, literally. And I'm like, the disrespect. But I was so excited that Rhythm actually stood her ground, and when she decided to leave, she like stayed gone, because I was a little worried there for a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh,
Is gonna
she's
reel
gonna
her
go
in.
back to old boy, right? He's gonna get, because he was like super persistent. Like he was sending her money. He sent her the dress for the listening party.
But that all started after like he noticed she had actually left, because you've been treating this woman like she's not your woman, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then when she leaves, suddenly now you're like, where are you? Trying to find where she is. Like, she stood on business. Like, she moved out, and also like her
Yeah.
friend Nick coming to spend time with her, standing on business, and then she's just like, we're gonna go out and have fun. But I like the fact that as soon as she's turned off her location, Nick was like calling her like, do
Right.
not make me for your mother. Where
But that was like, that's a real friend, like, because I mean, you know how it is, like you go anywhere, like us, like we like to travel or whatever, like, but you're traveling, like you're gonna make sure you share your location. If you're taking an Uber, like I'm sharing my location. But when she did not respond, she was like, look, you got until 10 o'clock to respond to me, or like, hey, I haven't heard from you, like where you at, don't make me call your people. And I was like, she was a true friend. I just love like their dynamic and their friendship. And just how like supportive she was of Rhythm like throughout the entire process. So that was super cool.
okay. So I just want to change gears for a little bit.
Okay.
Like, let's bring in Channing, our
Mm-hmm.
main male character.
Yes.
Obviously Channing is this music producer. He's been in the
Mm-hmm.
game for a little bit and he's respected. And obviously they first meet when he brings in his grandmother to her practice, but she didn't see him with the grandmother, so she didn't know um,
Yeah.
whose son or grandson he belongs to. But the way they connected very fast, obviously, her like in this limbo place with her relationship, like is she in, is she out? But just like
Mm-hmm.
so much going on. Do you think it's possible to like get out of a relationship and quickly connect with someone so deeply like the way they did, and you could their relationship like blossomed and obviously it was heading for something like serious?
I think that chemistry is real. Like there are times like you meet somebody and y'all just like instantly connect. Like conversation is effortless. Like there is this like of course like physical attraction that kind of pulls y'all together. And I think that's what was going on with her and Channing. Like they just met and things just fell into place. But also she had a lot going on in her life and he just kind of came in and made things like really effortless. Like he wasn't doing too much. He was giving her space, like letting her decide and
But do you also think he was very much like, but okay, he wasn't like, let me tell you why I say, like, yes, he was giving us space, but also he was very much like put the pressure on her because at the listening
yeah.
party, when he comes up to say hi to Raheem and Raheem is talking to her and she's like, hey, I just came here to support you as a friend, whatever. But he
Mm-hmm.
sees them obviously and puts two and two together and comes up and she's in shock and literally like, oh my god, this
Yeah.
is messy. Like this guy is like this guy I had a one night stand with is
Mm-hmm.
Raheem's music producer and he is just having so much fun with it and like pretends
Yeah.
like they don't know each other obviously, but also telling her like you need to fix your face because you're giving yourself away. So like he put the pressure and she's like obviously she is perturbed at
Yeah.
this point and just like wants to leave, and homeboy doesn't let up because even like the situation that happens in the restroom and then when they go to leave and Rain is walking them out, he intentionally goes into the elevator and Raheem is trying to set her him and Monique up and Rhythm is like, leave these grown people alone. But you could tell like he was really just like he also said he's like, if I want something, I go after what I want.
Yeah. But I think that's what it was. Like he like made it known. Like of course like everything started off like really casual, like just like a one night stand, but like it was really obvious that they ended up like developing feelings for each other. Um but I don't think he was like coming to play. He was like, "Hey, there's something different about Rhythm. Like I actually like her." And so he was like, "No, like this one my girl." And then also he was like, "They're not together." And then also with the insight that he has about like the conversations that he's witnessed between Imani and Raheem in the studio, he was like, "Oh, she don't
And
like
also
he doesn't deserve her. So
I
I'm finna
think
fight for
that's
this
why he was
girl."
like, it's done. I mean, obviously there was still like feelings she had to resolve there, but I also like the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he didn't say what he heard because he didn't get the whole context and he didn't, and it also like I think maybe he didn't want to put her in a position where like not so much like he wins by default, but like try and sway her mind in respect to like Raheem by saying, "Oh, I heard them talking about it." Like he later mentioned it, but that was after everything had gone down. But he
Mm-hmm.
also like noted in the book, like I can't tell her because context, like the context wasn't really him saying explicitly like it's her with the conversation
Yeah.
he was hearing or the person he was talking to him about. But I like that but also that's also just being mature for Channing. Like he was really mature. But
Yeah.
also I like the way he handled the fact that Raheem was trying to come to him for advice and he was like, we're not friends.
Wait, I was like, "Shut it down, Channing. Shut it down."
It's
He
like,
was like, "No, like you can either go fix it." And like before he realized, he was also like just very professional. He was like, "No, like go and talk to your woman. Like if that's something you want to like work on and fix, like go deal with it." But like you're presenting stuff in a way that is confusing, and you need to either fix what's going on at home or like." decide what you're gonna do. Um, so he was super professional, but then also like once he realized the connection and knew that like Rhythm wasn't ready to like make it public or whatever, he was like, oh no, this ain't what you want. Like we're not friends, dude. Like go
Exactly.
somewhere else. Yeah.
And I also, how do you think about the dynamic of, obviously she is his grandmother's doctor, and even though they didn't know that, but how they kind of like navigated that situation of for herself, because she said that was like a rule for her, like not to get involved with like her patients or her patient's family.
Yeah. Oh, like I think that's like a really tough area to be in. Obviously, like she's developed a clientele and has been practicing for a while, so she's obviously like learned to create those boundaries for herself. But I think she also acknowledges that like Channing is like a different dude. Like he's so different from Raheem and like, just like character maturity, like his approach to her that I think she realized this was an exception that she needed to make. Um but it can get like really messy. It's like ultimately like your clientele grows based on like people, like people like recommended like, oh, this is a really good, like OT, like you should go and try out, like Rhythm. She's like super professional, like she's helpful, like whatever. And then she also like takes on a different approach with the grandmother, taking her out to lunch and stuff like that as a part of her therapy. Um, and so I think it was like a risk on her, like on her, on her side too. Just like, oh my gosh, should I do this? Like, this is awkward. Of course, Channing didn't care. He was just like, I don't care if you if you are her occupational therapist. Like, we're gonna do this. But I know it took some guts, and I'm sure that was probably. I don't think this was necessarily a conversation that she had with Monique, but I'm almost positive that it was. Like, girl, should I do this? Like, what should I do?
Monique was like so ready for her to be done with Raheem. She was
She
just like,
was.
girl, go have fun. Go do you. Because
Yeah.
he's been doing whatever he's been wanting to do all this time. And
Yeah.
um wait, maybe I'm pivoting a little bit, but I like also the conversation that okay, maybe we're jumping ahead, because I was going to talk about the conversation the mom had with her when she found out who was coming to dinner, and
Oh,
after everything I done, but that's like jumping ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, jumping way ahead. Wait,
I want to jump back some.
yeah.
So let's talk about Rhythm and Channing's first encounter together. Um, Mwamba, I was like not expecting that. Like we read a lot of romance novels. I wasn't prepared. I was like, oh, okay, we're going here. But
It was a lot. It was a lot. You could see like, though, I like the fact that his grandma calls him out on everything, and she was like,
yeah,
there's this nice girl I found for you, but also you, if you are trying to do your playboy stuff,
this ain't the one.
this
Mm-hmm.
this ain't the one. But you could tell like things pretty much changed, because like the way he was more like no nonsense guy, and
Mm-hmm.
all the drama that Rhythm, she didn't come with. It's just like was surrounding her. She didn't bring into it. He still like was sticking around. But can we
Yeah.
talk? Do you, okay? Let me ask you this: do you think it was messy of Channing to invite Rhythm to the launch party of her ex boyfriend for them to spend time
Girl,
together
we
in the
knew
VIP area while it's all happening?
it was most definitely messy. And like I know he set it up real nice. Like you're gonna be in this like private like little pod. Like no one's gonna see you. You can just like be there. Like for what? She's gotta walk in and walk out of the place. Like somebody's gonna see her at some point. So I think it was most definitely messy. I don't think that he, I don't know, and maybe he was just in his like full like lover boy, like I want my woman with me when I go out, like, but no, I know like he was, because I think he rented like some like little pod or like little VIP area
Yeah, it was a VIP section
where like you could see
upstairs.
out but no one could see in, and so it's supposed to be like
Yeah.
super secretive and like hot and sexy, and she has to go to the restroom. I guess he didn't think about that part, like.
No, I thought about it. I don't think he just didn't care. He did send security with her. He didn't think she would leave that area because the girl has to go to the restroom. He just didn't
Yeah.
think security wouldn't have it because they didn't have it. He didn't have it, the security guy, and he let him have it. But what transpires in the bathroom, I was like, oh, Rhythm's got like just like
Mm-hmm.
step to me because
This ain't what you want,
who
boo.
got these hands?
I was so for it. But so let's talk about what happens after she leaves the restroom. She runs into little
Raheem.
homeboy over here, little trashy dude. And like he is like so disrespectful in that like he's not saying anything like crazy or out the way, but like he pulls her onto stage and like is making this like now you want to make this public declaration? No sir. No sir. Now is not the time. You had your opportunity.
Know her. No, she said she wanted to be private, but not a secret. And you putting her in this position when you know your relationship, you're not together,
Right.
right? She just came because you asked her to. But you dragging her onto stage, putting her in an uncomfortable situation. How does he
Mm-hmm.
think? Yeah, how did he think it was going to end?
Girl, I don't know. I have no idea. But then, like, also, like, not only does he do that, but he takes it a step further and, like, makes her dance with him. I was like, oh, he
She
lost
like
his
dug
mind.
into his nails and was like, "You're pushing it." And the fact that Channing clocked it, and he was like,
Mm-hmm.
because I think at first maybe he was thinking like, did she want this? And then he saw her face and
Mm-hmm.
went all the way down there. And when he let her go, she gets off, and Imani is now like, this is the time now. Imani wants to be like, oh, because I guess because for her, and he said, this woman has been with me, all these declarations he made, and
Yeah.
whatever lies he was telling Imani. I guess Imani wasn't believing that this whole time he'd been trying to get her back, and she just lays it all on the stage and outs them.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? God don't like ugly because it never ends well for the side chick. It never ends well. Like she really thought, but also like, ma'am, like what did you really think was gonna happen? Like even though he was like messing with her on the side, like he always went back home to Rhythm. Like
Mm-hmm.
like they were still together. Like he was still doing things for her. Like did you really think that he was going to like leave her for you?
If he hadn't done so already, like,
Yeah.
because they've been together. She said they've been dating for a year, or like whatever, messing around for a year.
Yeah. Something like
So
that. Yeah.
like, if it's been that long and he's still with her,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But anyway, Chammy swooped in and she was like, "Get me out of here," and he was like, "I got you."
Yeah. So what about when Raheem, decides he wants to be extra crazy and follows her, like uses the tracking device that's on her truck to follow her, and then like she's like leaving Channing's house.
Mm-hmm.
He follows
Oh,
her. She
first of
pulls.
all, that crazy didn't start there. He like, let's before we jump to Raheem's crazy following her, he went and like took a bat. It was a bat to Channing's car when he found out that they were seeing each other. And also like and then later that day he follows her from Channing's house, which is so creepy. First of all, like, you were dating this woman. You know how bad this looks. And also you know her father
Right.
doesn't mess about his daughter.
He does not play. I love it. I was like, because it is like stated like kind of like these like little subtle hints that her dad does not play. Like he will like come and
He does not play. And oh, and also she like comes out and she everybody's packing in her hair apparently.
literally she comes out
Because
guns blazing like.
and she's like, "You're following me." But also you
Mm-hmm.
could tell that the relationship between her and Channing was developing in a real way, because the first person she calls when she jumps back in her car after the confrontation with Raheem, after he followed her and she went into a parking lot, was Channing. She
Yeah.
called him and she was in tears because she was upset
Mm-hmm.
and scared. And he's the first person she called. And I was like, oh my goodness, that relationship is like blossoming.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think about Raheem dragging his mom over to her and Monique's place for this
That,
like sad, sappy apology?
listen, I get it. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I'm sure parents want to do everything for their children. But also, first of all, that was like a very sleazy move on. Look at this thing. It's, can we go away? It was also a very sleazy move on his end to take his mom. But also, if I were the mom, I would be like, "You made your bed.
Mm-hmm.
To lay in it. I am not coming to go plead your case for you." And also, like, he brings his mom to help him plead the case, and yet he's still spewing like hate and all these other things because
Mm-hmm.
he threw back the fact that he got her the car. He threw it in her face about the fact that he whatever gave her the money to start the practice. And the fact is, like, and you know what? And the thing is, like, Monique and her were very respectful to his mom
They
and
were.
knew they had enough because even his mom could see, and I'm pretty sure she was just like, you know what, let's take you behind home. Because remember when she was like, oh, you gave me all these things, take it back. Here are the keys. And his mom was like, no, no, we're not doing that. Here are the keys back. Like, this is not how I raised him. But also, he's doing weird things because also it was a little bit cowardice of him because he knew they would open the door if I brought my mom. But
Yeah.
also the fact is, like, your mom saw everything that happened that night. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Rhythm is in every right, even if there was any debate, because she was gone at this point, to have left your son because
Right.
he disrespected her, first of all, cheating on her, but also adding salt to injury, the embarrassment that just happened on that stage,
Right. That was probably like, you know, all over what would have been like World Star and the Shade Room and everywhere.
all
Cause
over.
like that was so tacky
And
and
also
like inconsiderate. All the
and
things.
the
Just
fact that we also found out that at one point Imani was pregnant. Like,
girl, that news right there. I was like, if there is no other reason to make sure you stay away from this dude, like what?
and also, and you have, like, you're still coming to me, stepping to me, and doing all these things. No, sir. No, sir.
Right.
No, sir.
You don't know what love is, sir. Talking like you love me.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
And he regretted it. Um,
Yeah.
and
What did you think about Channing taking Rhythm down to his cute little beach house?
look at me smiling so big. Uh,
We love a man with multiple properties, first of all.
And I also just, do you know, I think when I was like reading, when I told you you need to read the book, I think one thing that I told you about was the fact, I like a good little getaway, but also a man being intentional with what he does. And the fact that Channing knew, because she had told him how he had thrown it in her face, that I did this and da 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 for you, when they were walking out of the restaurant, when they were at the beach, like his home beach, when they were going through all those vendors and he was buying her everything she wanted, and she was like, oh, you don't have to pay for everything. And then he's like, listen, when you're with me, you never have to use your wallet. Like, and I was just like, that was, first of all, very affirming for her
Mm-hmm.
because she just got out of a relationship where this man made her feel like there's strings attached to everything that I did for you. And I think maybe
Right.
that's what was at that part. But he intentionally acknowledged her in that way to make her feel secure and safe with him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I got you. And I just love that. That was just like one of my
Yeah.
favorite. And I think she said thank you and laid her head on his shoulder because he knew exactly, he was like, I'm not like that. If I give you something,
It's
it's
yours.
yours.
But also that reminds me, I was so thankful that the car and her business were both in her name, not in his, not in both of their names, but like just hers. And I was like, I'm sure, like, I don't know if like she advocated for that or, you know, like Raheem was in his right mind at that time and actually just decided to just put it in her name. But I was like, because that would have been like a whole other like huge, like, legal mess, like trying to get everything put back into her name and like would have been like
Mhm.
extremely expensive. So I was super, excited for her. Like, she doesn't have to deal with all this and she can just move on with her life and keep flourishing with her magical little practice. But
And
yeah.
just great things, being in a whole um new relationship. But also, like, I also want to just, when the dad and her mom come to visit,
Oh
because, like,
yeah.
you know what? And I was like, we're meeting family. This is like
Mm-hmm.
so cute. But I also like that the parents come to visit, they go to a basketball game. Like, we also get to see Monique, have a little relationship, because I like the conversation courtside, because she was like, I'm here to find myself like a baller, and she was like, I can be in love in basketball. And Um, Rhythm's mom is like, no, girl, that we're not doing that. But the fact is, like, he was acting like a big brother already,
Mm-hmm.
best friend, because he was like saying those players, no, that one, yes, I approve. Like, and
Yeah.
she also gets herself a little bit of a baller, but also you could tell Channing was like he's head over heels, whether he knew it or not, because the scene where we get where she gets honored at that event, she didn't even know she was going to
Yeah.
honor her. He was like so proud of her,
He
and
was.
the basketball guy who ends up dating Monique was like, "You look like a man in love," and he's
Mm-hmm.
maybe I am.
It just was like super sweet. And it made me think about also the conversation Channing had with Rhythm's dad during their meeting. I was just like, this is so sweet. Like one Channing, I mean, Rhythm's dad really appreciated how Channing like protected her in his absence. Like, and I think that was like confirmation for him. Like, oh yeah, this guy is he's all right because he's actually gonna look out for my girl the same way that I would. Like Channing wasn't playing.
Her dad was ready to beat up Raheem.
Oh my goodness, yes. Girl was the dad was like funny at the end. I was like, this is perfect.
Before we go, we wanted to do this little segment. If you like this book, then you would love this book based off of Rhythms Blues. So for me, if you liked um, Only for the Week, you would love this book or Somebody's Wife. What are yours? Oh, by the way, Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop and Somebody's Wife by Robbie Renee.
Yes. Okay. Somebody's Wife would probably also be my pick too, but also Luca by Gray Huffington. It's given like really similar. Also like this guy kind of swoops in and just takes care of his woman. It's really nice. So I would say Luca by Gray Huffington and Somebody's Wife too. So
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
All right, this is
And
fun.
also, like, you like a nice, fun read with a little bit of mess. It was a good mess,
Some
but
drama, a little spice.
and you
Yep.
like really read it really, really, really fast. But yeah,
Yeah.
everybody make sure like I'm excited to read more of Kimberly Brown's like catalog because this was my first book I've read from her catalog. But this is Rhythms Blues by Kimberly Brown. Again, thanks for listening.
All right, we'll see y'all next time.